finals.
Let's get to the best half of the game. Nathan Cleary won't play for the Panthers until the finals after an ugly spear tackle on Eels half Dylan Brown. So the superstar playmaker suspended for 5 games. Cleary was sent from the field over the incident, and our opinion is divided over how the NRL gets this tackle out of the game.
Oh my goodness, this is a problem. That's Dylan Brown that was flipped over like an omelette.
Nathan Cleary involved.
Now, what will we see from the referee and the bunker? Oh, that is a horrible tackle.
Okay, hands in between the legs, driven him into the ground, you're off.
God, Nathan Cleary has been sent from the field. Can you believe it? Oh, and those replays don't get any prettier.
I think his hands were tight. It was a spear tackle. The bloke ended up on his head. I think the referee had no other option but to send Nathan.
Obviously, there'll be a fair talking point between now and we find out what the charges are.
Ivan, how did you see the send-off?
Yeah, I can understand it. I think he's going to be missing for a bit. I don't know how long, but yeah, it feels like he's let everyone down. I know Nat pretty well, so I know he'll just feel his fire for later. So, but yeah, what can he say, really?
This morning, gents, the match review committee has charged the Panthers halfback with a grade 3 dangerous throw. He's not going to take part in the rest of the regular season with the Panthers.
It's hard to argue. I think the referee got it right. Biggest thing for Penrith is no Luai and the run home. Yeah, what do the habits they create the next month, 5 weeks without their 2-gun players, and is that going to put them in good stead to play their best footy in September? That's the challenge for Ivan Cleary.
The game's best player, Nathan Cleary, gone until the finals. 5 weeks out, he'll return in week 1 of the finals. Did the NRL get it right?
Yeah, I think they did, Braith. I don't think they had any option. Nathan Cleary's not a dirty player, but he got that horribly wrong, and as a result, they needed to send a strong message.
Yeah, Ivan Cleary spoke about after the game. Look, I thought Nathan and Ivan handled this wonderfully. The way they spoke about it. They didn't give the old, Ivan could have got there like they all do. I didn't see the tackle or haven't seen the replay yet. Any of that rubbish. He came out and just said, look, it's unfortunate, we're sorry. But they did get it right. The thing is, Ivan explained after the game, generally when you get a player in the air like that, your other 2 defenders in will help hold them up so they don't go all the way over past the horizontal. In this case, it didn't happen, so the tackle went wrong. But it has to be out of the game. I heard Billy Slater talking after the game saying how that, Nathan doesn't need 5 weeks on the sideline to realise he's made a mistake, but you have to put him out. You just have to do that.
What do you mean he doesn't need 5 weeks out to learn?
Well, because Nathan's smart enough to correct it. Yeah. He knows he made it blue.
Yeah. But why was he saying that? Why was Billy Slater saying?
Because he wasn't agreeing with the 5-week penalty. He was thinking 1 or 2 weeks would have been enough.
Because it's Nathan Cleary?
Because it's Nathan Cleary,
It doesn't matter who it is.
Exactly. I agree with you,
It doesn't matter who it is.
I thought it was handled really well from the moment it happened. And I just wanted to make this point. Ashley Klein was on a night off and so was Gerard Sutton. Had a couple of young officials working that night, Todd Smith and Grant Atkins. The moment it happened, they looked quickly at the bunker, they sent him from the field. There were no mistakes, there was no controversy, no suggestion of inconsistency. Well, what I'm trying to say is these guys, Todd Smith and Grant, should be doing these big games all the time. It went to the match review, they got it right.
You couldn't help yourself, Buzz. You had to chip Ashley Klein.
Well, I did have to chip him, because I'm still in shock about what happened.
You missed last week. We couldn't get your opinion.
Mate, you know,
there was a teeing off.
Look, I nearly threw something to the TV when Kenty was...
Wouldn't be the first or the
Kenty,
last.
can I say seriously?
I'll throw you at
What
the
were you going to
TV.
say? Hang on, let's get your opinion on last week. I'd like to hear that.
I'll tell you what my opinion was. It was the worst studding I've seen on a football field in a decade.
Surprise, surprise, Buzz.
It was, Kenty. It was a dudding.
I don't agree.
I know you don't agree, and I can't believe you don't agree. Well, I can, actually, because we never agree.
You know what?
Look, if they were looking to actually catch the ball, he would have run at the ball. Dane Laurie was under the ball.
We're still going back.
Kenty, he was running back in case the fullback knocked it. Kenty was a horrible.
Right, you know what? Let's get back to this one. Let's get back to this one. Now, I actually think you're right. The referees handled it magnificently. I thought they got it right. The NRL have got it right. And Nathan Cleary walked off that field on social media. He put a post straight out apologising to Dylan Brown to the fans and admitting he got it wrong, and he was happy to take the punishment. I thought the whole situation is first class.
It was.
Perfect, and there's nothing wrong with any of it. Now, let's have a look at the Panthers' run home. What do we think of the Panthers now with Cleary out? Is there a concern now that it could derail the rest of their season?
No, let's remember last year he was out with a shoulder injury. He came back from the shoulder injury, carried it through the rest of the season. They won the premiership. They've handled life without him before.
He missed the first 4 weeks of this season as well, and they went on winning games.
The problem is Jerome Luai's not there either. You take Origin halves out of it side, and
but they won through Origin.
They have got. Look, if you look at that draw there, they have got a tough draw. So they've got to play the Raiders.
Let's go through it, Hoops. Let's go through it. We've got the Raiders away. Storm home. Now, if you look at those 2 games, they're in some trouble. Rabbitohs away, in some trouble. Warriors, different. You'd think they should pick that one up still. The Cowboys, in trouble. They could possibly lose 4 out of the last 5 games.
This game against the Raiders will have a lot of spice and a lot of feeling in it as well as a result of the history between the 2 clubs. If you go back to last season, there was a flare-up on the sidelines. Joe Tarpanay was waiting to go on, and Stephen Crichton was the player who was celebrating and went over the top. The Raiders had some very strong statements to make about that piece of play. So there's going to be a lot of feeling. We're led to believe Stephen Crichton may be available and could be coming back wearing headgear, albeit as a result of that injury to his ear. So then you throw in Souths, the Cowboys and Melbourne as well. It's a hard roll.
But guys, they're 6 points clear.
They're still going to finish top 4.
They'll still finish top 2.
They win one of those games, they'll finish first or second, have a home final.
Yeah, I think we're dramatising it a little bit because, let's be honest, this team's been together for 6 years. They've been together for 6 years. They've played, Luai and Cleary, and they're not going to.
They won't miss a beat.
They won't come back and go, oh, what do we do next?
They will not miss a beat, Penrith. They will just march on as they have always. And the good news is they'll have Cleary back nice and fresh. Luai will come back nice and fresh.
He's disagreeing with you again.
I'm just saying it's a big call to say you won't miss 2 champion halves.
Well, they went through the Origin period undefeated.
Yes, correct.
Thank you, Phil.
Oh, he got you there. He got you there, Bus. Let's